Your home for sports. Guaranteed human. Make us the number one preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. This is the starting lineup. Here's your host, Karl Schoening.
Welcome into the starting lineup. I'm Karl Schoening, starting at your host and the voice coming through your speakers. LG is in the starting lineup with me as our audio and technical director, making sure we look good on YouTube and sound good going out over the radio airwaves. Kawhi is no longer a Clipper. The summer Spurs gear up for California, and plenty of NBA names have new homes. But we're in San Antonio, Texas, and I want to talk about the most popular water cooler conversation this July 1st in town. And that is that LeBron James is a free agent. He is the most coveted 41-year-old free agent in NBA history. He tells the Lakers about 6 hours before free agency starts yesterday that he would like to move on and go to a new home. He wants to continue his career, but it is not with you. And I have a lot of thoughts about this. It'll be an interesting time not making this entire show a LeBron James special, but NBA free agency has a lot of dominoes that might have fallen last night if LeBron said he was going to the Lakers. So we're lacking a little bit of big name news. Not much movement happened after the 5 p.m. start time of free agency. It took about 20 minutes for a notification to come down, and that was DeAndre Jordan signed with the New Orleans Pelicans. I thought he was going to be fielding more offers and at least take an hour for that decision, but he comes back, and that's obviously the first domino to fall in a lot of small dominoes. LeBron James is holding up NBA free agency, and I do not have much else to tell you guys in terms of actual news. What does this do, though? This makes the Lakers a team that can spend underneath the salary cap. They will have a lot of money to go after some of these restricted free agents that we've been talking about, like a Jalen Duren, for example. I think that the Pistons match any offer that Jalen Duren signs. It's just the opportunity of doing business is that Jalen Duren's next contract will be what is your open market value. And the only three teams that have salary cap space are the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, and now because of this LeBron James move, the Los Angeles Lakers. But I digress. As I go back to LeBron James, several things came out yesterday and over the last 48 hours, and I don't know exactly what all to get into on this, but there's been some, I guess, I don't know how to put this, weird cross channels between LeBron James and the Lakers that you read the tea leaves, and it's pretty obvious the Lakers are going to want to build around Luka Doncic. And I think it's not necessarily something that could have made the Lakers a contender next year if they brought LeBron James back and then they had no money to work with. I think there's a lot of things that the Lakers maybe wanted to do that perhaps LeBron felt that he wasn't involved in. For whatever reason, the relationship with LeBron and the Lakers wasn't going to make sense to continue when LeBron James is in his 42nd year of life next year. December 30th, LeBron turns 42, and the Lakers are looking to build around Luka. That's fine. They re-sign Austin Reeves to a max contract, and just the way NBA math works, that'll be the very last domino to fall within the Lakers' spending underneath the salary cap situation, because cap holds, I don't want to get into all the technical stuff that goes into the salary cap. What I'm saying here is the Lakers are now going to have to find a way to build around Luka and Austin Reeves, and LeBron has quote, and this is where I think it's kind of funny, sort of like breakup in a way. LeBron is playing for happiness next year. So, LG, this is where I got to bring you in, because maybe I'm like sort of hearing this a little weird. If I said, you know what, I don't want to do this show anymore, I want to do the show for happiness, would you take that personally?
No, I'd be all about it. We should be doing this show for happiness, if not money.
No, that's fair. But like, you know, if I said that to, let's say I said that to iHeart, like, you know, I guess you're right. But like, it's not like he's leaving basketball. Like, it's not like he says he's going to just go be a professional golfer because he thinks it's going to make him happy. He's going to a new situation. And I feel like that's just sort of like, at the end of a breakup, like, hey, it was a great relationship. We had fun 8 years here in Los Angeles, won a championship together, all that stuff. But I'm going to go be somewhere where I'm happy.
Well, yeah. And, they say money can't buy happiness. He's got all the money in the world. So I guess he needs to find that happiness right now.
So, I've been hinting at this on the show that LeBron's probably going to be a free agent. And money isn't that big of a deal. Like, the Spurs have the full mid-level exception to be able to offer LeBron. We'll get to the Spurs and LeBron implications down the show.
How about no?
What? That there's no way that no one that is seriously going to be able to get LeBron to their team doesn't at least send in their sales pitch. Okay, Sacramento, they shouldn't even bother making the call. What are they going to say? The king on the Kings? LeBron's not.
He's going to the Warriors.
No, and that's something I want to get into is where LeBron makes sense, and that's another segment that we have coming down the pipe here on the show, and that's why I said I have to be careful to make sure this is not all LeBron, but there's several options, and he can literally go anywhere. He's a billionaire. He's going to sign for the vet minimum if it makes him happy, right? So I feel like that means there's literally every argument you can make of the Rich Paul said that he said there's going to be at least 14 teams that he already had scheduled conversations with or he plans to talk to or what have you. You have to assume if half the league is going to see what LeBron's thinking, the Spurs are part of that half of the league, do their due diligence. And does that mean he's going to be a Spur? I've been kind of saying that would be an amazing way to spin the mid-level exception. That is a pipe dream. But it is a bit more of a reality today than it was before we knew what LeBron was going to do with the Los Angeles Lakers, which, by all means, here's even more backstory to this. LeBron just went on his 10-year reunion, I guess, vacation in Europe somewhere with a lot of members of the 2016 Cavaliers. Unfortunately, poor Timofey Mozgov was not invited, but I'm a little bummed about that. But you saw LeBron out there with Kevin Love and Richard Jefferson and other members of the 2016 Cavaliers team. Also, Kyrie Irving was supposedly invited and didn't go. But what have you, LeBron is having fun with the Cavaliers and apparently does not make it known to the Lakers what he was intending on doing. He is their biggest free agent, and according to Brian Windhorst, the Lakers were not allowed to talk to LeBron, or LeBron didn't make himself available to the Lakers, is what Brian Windhorst was saying. But I suppose LeBron didn't allow those conversations to happen. You could say that he was mulling over whether or not he was going to retire while he was on this vacation trip, and maybe he had some epiphanies. There's two ways to think about it. You can be cynical and think that LeBron knows where he's going and he's just going to make things about himself for a little bit. And I don't particularly think that that's the case, but I do get a feeling that LeBron knows where he wants to go. Brian Windhorst also said that he thinks that there's going to be some sort of posturing between the teams that are in the running. How can you make this look as appealing as possible by making a move or two? And we can get into those conversations as well as if LeBron's going to Miami, they got to sort of fill out the rest of their roster first. They do add Tim Hardaway Jr. as their sharpshooter, but I guess LeBron would probably be the primary perimeter player on that team. Does he want that? We'll get into the what makes sense for LeBron and why I think San Antonio's there. But when it comes to LeBron James overall in this free agency, you got to assume, the New York Knicks. Hey, we're the champs. You always were rumored to be playing as a Knick. Finally come to the Mecca and see if you can repeat something the New York Knicks have never done. They won it in 70 and 73, but the Knicks have never repeated. So that's something that I think is we can't offer you a contract, but we can definitely get you tons of New York City endorsements. LeBron finally in New York City would be epic. And then you talk about maybe the Toronto Raptors, now that they've gotten Kawhi Leonard. Hey, LeBron, hey, that's what they say in Canada, eh? Yeah. So, there's going to be every single team making their pitch to LeBron. And you're going to laugh at some of the ones that are making their pitch, but at least they're going to try and go after the NBA's all-time leading scorer, somebody who at 41 years old led the NBA in fast break points last year and looked as good as an athlete as anybody in the league and had a huge series against the Houston Rockets where he was the Lakers' best player and pulled off that series. Granted, I know Kevin Durant also wasn't there, but you're talking about LeBron still can be the best player on a team. And that's where I think it starts to get interesting to start talking about the Spurs because, yeah, it's Jalen Brunson's team, but you probably would say that LeBron might be better than Karl Anthony Towns. I would say that that's at least a toss-up of a debate. And obviously, all time, there's no real holding a candle cat to LeBron James. But in San Antonio, you got three-headed point guard monster. You have so LeBron doesn't really have to handle the ball except for maybe when the Spurs need him to be that guiding hand at the point forward position or to push a fast break. You have De'Aaron Fox, Steph Castle, and Dylan Harper who can all perhaps be better ball handlers and take a lot of pressure off of LeBron. And then you have these shooters that help LeBron do what he wants to do. You can put a lot of shooters around LeBron. And of course, I should have probably led with this guy, Victor Wembanyama. Very clearly an undisputed better player than LeBron James. So I do think that there is a bit of a reason why to think LeBron James will at least consider San Antonio. And then, of course, there's Cleveland. That would be the full circle moment. Of course, there's a lot of chatter with the Warriors. I'm not buying that, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the show. And, again, let's go ahead and just go through the list. Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving's there. Cooper Flagg doesn't necessarily beat out the Spurs, in my opinion, but maybe he's closer to Kyrie or they want to reconcile there. Houston Rockets, why not? Kevin Durant, Fred VanVleet's coming back. Ime Udoka's a good coach. I guess you could say that if the Rockets aren't at least checking in on, hey, can we offer you a minimum contract or whatever money the Rockets can throw at LeBron James, they're at least doing their due diligence, and it seems like that's where we're probably going to be in NBA free agency for at least a little bit here, and hopefully the news comes down during the show, but I will strongly believe that LeBron might actually take a few days here and NBA free agency will be slow. But man, at least we did not have to wait until midnight. NBA free agency used to start at midnight, and because there was no real news, we could have been up until 3 a.m. and regretted it, and that was only 3 hours ago for me. So I would like to thank the NBA for moving the start of NBA free agency to 5 p.m. and making life much easier for morning talk show hosts. But it does create a lot of easy segments for me this morning on July 1st. As NBA free agency is open, we will get into other moves that happened around the NBA related to the free agency trades, new home for Kawhi. Mamukelashvili is probably going to be on the move. I just thought I would say that. Mamukelashvili on the move. Is it too early for a tongue twister? We have a lot to talk about here on the starting lineup on Ticket 760. We will be talking a lot of NBA today, and hey, maybe some nerdy stuff. I have a couple things to talk about with cameras. LG and I will certainly be able to fill a segment with that here on the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, the United States Mint is honoring our nation's liberty and civic ideals by rolling out a historic one-year-only coin redesign. Here's Paul Hollis, director of the U.S. Mint, with more.
To commemorate the nation's founding, we're introducing special designs for the dime, quarter, and half dollar. In time for the 4th of July, our newest quarter, entering circulation, honors the Declaration of Independence and connects Americans to the people and principles that launched this nation 250 years ago.
The head side features Thomas Jefferson and bears a dual date, 1776 to 2026. The tail side depicts the cracked Liberty Bell ringing with the inscription, the Declaration of Independence.
Americans can find the Declaration of Independence quarter in everyday transactions or purchase them directly from the U.S. Mint. They're meant to be shared, saved, and remembered as part of this historic anniversary.
To learn more about this year's commemorative coins, visit usmint.gov.
Got a DWI? Don't wait. What you do next matters. Not all classes are accepted by Texas courts. Before you pay, make sure it's state approved and live. Alamo Center has helped Texans for over 30 years complete their court-ordered DWI and drug education classes live and instructor-led. No pre-recorded videos. Real instructors, real support. Classes fill up fast. Secure your spot today. Speak to a live person now. Call 210-824-5537 or visit alamocenter.org. Alamo Center. The road back starts here.
July 4th, 2026, the 250th anniversary of American independence. The Great American State Fair becomes the center of it all. All 50 states, a national prayer moment. And that night, the largest fireworks display in the history of the world. There's never been a July 4th like this one. There never will be again. Plan your trip at freedom250.org. Freedom 250, the Great American State Fair, July 4th.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on, and that means hot deals on wheels at World Car Kia. Like 0% financing on 2026 Kia Sportages and 0% on Serenos too. And if you have a trade, now's the time to trade up. Plus, everyone gets a lifetime warranty and lifetime roadside assistance at World Car Kia. Visit any of our stores in San Antonio, New Braunfels, and save. Kia. World Car Kia. World Car for a lifetime.
With approved credit through KMF.
After an auto accident, you might be in a lot of pain, feeling battered and bruised, even if you were wearing a seatbelt and doing everything right. Well, now's the time to make another right decision and hire Thomas J. Henry Law to get in the ring for you. Going toe-to-toe, hitting back against the insurance companies trying to bob and weave to save a few bucks on your case. Thomas J. Henry Law. We're always in your corner. Get your case started at tjhlaw.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
We have always been a nation of givers. Giving a hand, giving hope, giving possibility, giving joy, giving opportunity, giving dignity. Imagine what could happen if we all gave at the same time. Giving forth. Take the pledge and give to the causes you care about at America250.org.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know, our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet
Some
lives.
people say soccer culture doesn't exist in the U.S., but
it is an American game.
And it goes beyond the stats.
It's your culture.
It's a connecting force.
I like watching it with my dad.
To the players and the stories.
I took an elbow to my head, which cracked my skull.
From Futuro Studios, this is American Football, a show about soccer culture in the U.S. and its underdog roots. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search American Football, and listen now.
Summer is here, and iHeartRadio has got you covered. Dive into summer hits, commercial-free on Songs of the Summer Radio. Hit play on summer playlists for road trips to pool days, like Summer Road Trip. And yeah, podcasts so good, you can zone out in the shade. Just open the free iHeartRadio app and find your next summer preset now.
Your home for Spurs talk. This is the starting lineup with Karl Schoening.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm Karl Schoening. LG is in the starting lineup with me. You can reach out to us on social media. I am on X and Instagram at OnAirKarl. That is Karl with a K. He is at DJLG210. He's also monitoring the chat. Several things happening here on starting lineup this morning as we are talking NBA free agency. But first, we have a couple comments to get to, LG.
Yes, sir. We are streaming live on YouTube today at Starting Lineup Live. If you want to jump into the live chat, there's already people in here. Hanover Fist says, good morning, Starting Lineup crew. Funny that LeBron made a statement the day after Lakers signed Reeves.
Really, the timing here, the thing that seems the most interesting about the timing is that LeBron James Jr., Bronny, had his contract guaranteed 2 days ago, and LeBron tells the Lakers yesterday he's not coming back. So some people think that that's the calculated timing in this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So LeBron James Jr. got his full contract guaranteed, and I think there's like $1 million difference. So very Pop's move there on LeBron. But LeBron James Jr., Bronny, is actually a very popular player and probably wasn't going to be waived unless it was out of spite, which I don't think that they would do.
He might be now. He might be headed to the G League for the rest of the season.
Bronny actually ended up being a reasonable player for them at the end of this year, but he doesn't need the G League. Anyway, I digress. But Hanover Fist, I also saw that he said Viva Mexico, yes, last night. Yes.
Apparently the curse was broken last night.
Hey, they win a knockout round game in the first year that it is 32 teams in the knockout round. But congratulations, Mexico comes out with a 2-0 lead going into the halftime locker rooms, and then they just sort of keep it defensive-minded and see if Ecuador can score on them. They do not. Interesting thing about that game, and obviously we will talk a little Spurs here this segment, but so Ecuador, they were set up in Columbus, Ohio, right? That was they were using the Columbus Cruise facility and those kinds of things to be their home base here in the United States. And then Ecuador proceeded to fly down to Mexico City, and because it is a high elevation area, I suppose, in Mexico City, the thought process was, instead of going through the process of reacclimating your body to the high altitude by drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated for a few days, it's better to get in late and just sort of run with your body as it checks into Mexico City. So Columbus apparently didn't get into Mexico City until I think like the day before the match, something along those lines. And for those of you that don't know, Mexico City has 24 million people. It is the biggest city in North America, and they were all pro-Mexico, obviously. Well, maybe not all of them, but as you can imagine, a good chunk of that absolutely, monstrous size of a city was pro-Mexico. They found the Ecuador Hotel, and it was a madhouse. Just look up what was outside the Ecuador Hotel in Mexico City. The videos are crazy because it is just nonstop noise for Ecuador not to be able to sleep. And they looked like a team that did not sleep last night or the night before. It was very much Mexico had all the energy. It must have been a phenomenal game to have attended in person.
Yeah, I think we have audio from outside the hotel right now.
Órale, vato, what's happening?
No me shut up.
It was much more obnoxious. It was a lot of horns and honking, and like I said, like 24 million people. That is unfathomable. What's the biggest city in the United States, LG? Maybe
York.
Los Angeles, New York?
I would say New York.
Yeah. And that's just a huge metro area, and I'm sure Mexico City is much like those areas where it's just a whole bunch of small towns that eventually grew into small cities that grew into each other. And we sort of have that, I guess, in Dallas and Fort Worth, the Metroplex. But yeah,
I need to go. I always wanted to go. It's on the bucket list.
Mexico City?
Yep.
There's still 24 million people just clumped into one area seems like madness. But because of that, there is unlimited places for you to go. You could not
a lot to do.
Yeah. I have a lot of interest in it as well, but I would probably need to learn a lot more Spanish. I would need to be much better at speaking Spanish and probably go with people who know what they're doing, because the other side to 24 million people is it's very easy to go to the wrong place or do the wrong things.
I like the vibe of completely packed giant cities like that. I love Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
I like New York a little bit. I'll be in Jakarta, the largest city in the world, 42 million people. So I'll be there in a few weeks.
Whoa, I did not know that is a fun fact. Jakarta is the largest city in the world?
Yep, just surpassed Tokyo last year.
Wow, 42 million people. Why are people moving to Jakarta?
They're not. They're moving out, actually, because the city is sinking. It's under sea level.
Because it is 42 billion people.
Yeah. Million, not billion.
Still 42 million people. Excuse me. Yeah, the B might as well be, what is that? A 50th of a billion or something like that. So, well, I guess
it's a lot of people. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is Crazy. I did not know that. Jakarta. So interesting. But yeah, Mexico City was rocking last night. They were on a weather delay, and I appreciate you, LG. I misread the pop-up when I tuned into the game. I was probably, 30 seconds late. I saw it was 8 o'clock, and I, fumbled to get my app to cast onto my TV, and I saw that there was a weather delay, and I misread it as 10 p.m. Pacific time. I guess because the PM, I'm dyslexic, so I see things sometimes. But I was like, oh, wow, LG, we got to deal with this weather delay until a midnight kickoff. And thankfully, you told me it was 10 Eastern. So that certainly allowed me to see the 2 goals that Mexico scored in the first half. And I think that I need to catch up on Game of Thrones, and that was going to be my plan to kill 2 hours. So appreciate you helping me out with that. But
you're still catching up on Game of Thrones?
No, it's
Are you doing a rewatch?
No, I should have said House of the Dragons. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing the spinoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed. What was it? I enjoyed A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new one that just came out. And
I never forgave them for the last season of Game of Thrones, so I never jumped back on the bandwagon after they released that whatever the hell they released.
It was what it was.
Frankly, it was
disgusting.
Okay. Yeah. But when it comes to, I guess, sports now, as we bring it back in, I'm glad that weather delay was only an hour for Mexico City, and I did not start House of the Dragon because that was an hour and a half, and I probably would have missed the 2 goals, and Mexico City comes away with a 2-0 victory to move on to the knockout round. And Team USA will be playing today. This did not mean to be a World Cup segment, but yeah, Team USA will play today, so that'll be a fun one against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Was that America?
That's right. Bet your ass it was.
I didn't hear what he said, but I think I'm familiar with the tune. So, July.
Can't play the whole song.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Oh, I'll ask why later. But United States will be playing today against Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. That'll be on Fox. I'll confirm that with you guys a little bit later, but definitely tuned into the World Cup. Highly tuned into NBA free agency, but the good thing is I can multitask and do both at the same time. Not free agency necessarily, and let me pull up everything that came down as part of the Kawhi Leonard trade. Kawhi Leonard moves on from the Clippers as the Clippers and Kawhi can't come to an agreement on an extension, and Kawhi apparently said he would only sign an extension in Toronto, and this comes down from Shams Charania yesterday. Before we send it into some more free agent talk next segment, I wanted to definitely touch on Kawhi's new home. Clippers have agreed to trade for all NBA forward Kawhi Leonard. He will be going to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a 2027 first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, sources told ESPN on Tuesday, and back to Canada for Kawhi. So that is the haul that ended up costing the Raptors for Kawhi Leonard, and that's actually a fairly decent haul for all things considered. Somebody who will be 35 now. Kawhi was turned 35 in June, so 35-year-old Kawhi Leonard, who will eventually agree to an extension, I'm sure. The Raptors very happy to have him and have him open for being there for more than 1 year. Kawhi is on an expiring $50 million contract, and the Clippers start their rebuild in a way, as they've sort of quietly been starting their rebuild since probably not re-signing Paul George. But before I guess we get out of here, there's, suppose, been reports that Kawhi sort of hinted in this process that he would also sign an extension with the Spurs, and apparently the Spurs weren't interested. And I kind of said that throughout the course of this. I love that it seems like we're getting towards a reconciliation. I don't know if either side is ever going to publicly address what happened when Kawhi left the Spurs, and that's fine. I don't think we need public address, but it feels, at least behind the scenes, we've let bygones be bygones, and I'm happy that we can all be adults about this. Well, at least the people that actually have this involved in their life. If you're a Spurs fan and you want to forever, hate Kawhi, that's your prerogative.
I'd rather have Kawhi than LeBron on this team.
That's another conversation in itself. But I do think that it is nice to hear that perhaps if, let's just say, in the world where I said the Spurs would never trade for Kawhi because you have to trade for him. That's $50 million, logistics, etc. But if he were a free agent and showed interest in coming to the Spurs with what they had available, sort of like what LeBron is doing now, I'm happy to hear that at least Kawhi is sort of open to it. And I get the feeling that the Spurs would be open to it in that sense where they don't have to give anything up in terms of assets. That I feel like they would be open to it too, which is why I also feel like they're open to LeBron, etc. But I hope that there is some sort of public gesture, if you will, that will eventually show that the Spurs and Kawhi have buried that hatchet. One of the things that I thought sort of signified that was when the Spurs had their 50th anniversary and Kawhi came back, he was honored as a former Spur like every other former Spur was. And, if you want to boo Kawhi, that's on you. But
he'll forever get boos. But if he came back to the team, to the Spurs, then he would no longer be booed. And Kawhi's looking for a home to hang his jersey. It's not going to be in L.A.
Yes, that's actually a very good point. Kawhi now has a chance. Okay, he's probably not going to get his jersey retired with the Clippers. Let's be honest. He might be their best player of all time. At the same time, he didn't do enough to necessarily warrant a retired jersey. He was probably going to get his jersey retired in Toronto for the 1 year. This second stint sort of feels like it'll solidify Kawhi as a Raptor getting his jersey retired.
Yep.
The next Drake single is going to mention Kawhi for sure. And
oh, God.
It would be I feel like if Kawhi has it within him to play 4 more years, and his last year is with the Spurs, that'd be like, because he's a free agent and he signs like a minimum contract ring chasing with Victor Wembanyama, that would be great. I personally am pro peace and all of the good things. Let's have conversations. Let's be cool with each other. And, just like Pop said, no need to boo Kawhi anymore. We've moved on, and man, we're back to the finals already, baby. Yeah, the Spurs. That's why I got to talk LeBron and Spurs coming up here next segment, is because I want to make a pitch, and I think I'll go into this pitch a little bit more when we come to the top of the 7 o'clock hour. But when we come back, we will talk a little bit about LeBron and what's next, and why the Spurs make sense here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
For more information about contests on this station, go to ticket760.com/rules.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And right now, save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Shop's back! 50 years in the Lone Star State. A one-stop shop so you're never late. Price is so low that you want to know
Which way to Specs?
Come on, let's go.
Specs Wine Spirits and Finer Foods. World-class service, that's all about you.
Shop Specs, it's how we do. A huge selection since 62. Shop Specs, low priced, amazing. Here's to you.
Shout.
Cheers to savings.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
Team France is headed to the round of 16. After a 3-0 win over Sweden, Kylian Mbappe scored twice and became the all-time leader in World Cup knockout round goals.
Mbappe, 2 great goals for him. He's gone level with Messi, and France are safely through.
France meets Paraguay in the next round. Coming up tonight, Team USA takes on Bosnia-Herzegovina in the round of 32 in Santa Clara.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
Download the Polymarket app to check the latest tournament odds. Think you know the winners? Download the Polymarket app and use code GOALIE for $50 free for your first trade. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Restrictions and eligibility apply. That's code GOALIE.
It's Taylor Swift's wedding, so, of course, it's going to include a castle. TMZ says a massive one is being built inside Madison Square Garden as the venue is being transformed into a full-blown fairy tale. Crews were spotted unloading giant covered scenic pieces with labels like Garden Party 1, which may be a nod to the couple's garden engagement from last year. Guests will be required to sign electronic NDAs with each invitation individually watermarked. The wedding is set for July 3rd. The Sharp-Dressed Men and the Dream Police may be coming to a city near you. ZZ Top and Cheap Trick are extending their tour.
The new dates are scheduled for September the 26th in Tennessee and October 3rd and 4th in Texas. ZZ Top kicked off the Big One tour in April, and Cheap Trick are promoting their new album All Washed Up. Tickets for the new dates go on sale Friday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Minions and Monsters is looking for a bananas box office start over the long holiday weekend. The 7th installment in the Despicable Me franchise is projected to make $80 million over the 5-day period. And that's entertainment. I'm Daria Albinger.
Silver and black and no excuses. Start your day with a starting lineup.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm your host, Karl Schoening. LG is in the starting lineup with me. You might hear his voice occasionally. And I went into the end of last segment by teasing this segment as why LeBron makes sense for the Spurs. I'm just going to put it plain and simple. He's the best player available, and if the Spurs can sign him, then it's obviously a win.
Hell no!
LG, you've been very cynical about this. I need to hear the argument against LeBron.
LeBron's old, dude. Didn't you see him last season? He was gassed after the first half. He just stands in the corner and waits for a pass for the corner three and does nothing. He's old. This is a young Spurs team. We don't need old-ass LeBron on this team.
This is where I know you watch the NBA, but maybe you missed some of the facts. He led the NBA in fast break scoring last year.
maybe in the first half.
The entire season.
He was slow break in the second half the entire season.
So LeBron didn't play. Actually, if you guys remember, LeBron was out. Let me pull up his logs. LeBron was out a good chunk of the first season, which pretty much cost him, I would suppose, the 65-game minimum for a while. Here is what LeBron did do last year, right? In 60 games, he averaged 21 points per game, 6 rebounds, 7.2 assists, shot 51% from the field, and 31%, or just under 32% from three. So he was a decently effective three-point shooter, an efficient overall shooter from the field, and averaged 21 points per game, as sometimes having to be the best player. And let me pull up that log real quick, and let me see. He missed the first roughly month of the season. He didn't play the October 21st opener, and he came back on November 18th. And then that was it. That was the only real stretch. He missed a 3-game stretch in March, and he missed one game there. And yes, he is 42 years old, or he will be December 30th of this year. But
exactly. He's one hamstring pull for being out for the season.
Well, so is everybody. That's not necessarily
but he's more
fair.
likely.
Not necessarily.
There's only one unk on the team, and it's Harrison Barnes.
None of these arguments seem to be overly valid, LG. I got to be honest with you. Like, I understand a lot of people.
It's the wrong direction.
No, I don't agree with any of this, honestly. Like,
I do. Spurs don't need to go old. They need to stay with the young team that they have and stick around and fill gaps that are necessary without going to the extreme and for the headline and trying to sell seats. They need to do something that will make the team better and not worse. I think LeBron makes the team worse.
Oh, I strong disagree because he's LeBron James. Like, he is the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Every time he steps on the court, he sets a new record or he extends his own. And it is a crazy, I guess, proposition to add him, but it's one that is now a legitimate conversation for at least 14 teams in the NBA, and the Spurs would be foolish not to make it one of them because, yeah, who would you rather have, LeBron James or Tobias Harris? It's kind of coming down to that conversation right now, LG. You don't have to give up anything for either one of them.
Well, it depends on the money situation. And who do you bench? If LeBron's not going to be coming off the bench, so who do you pull off the starting lineup?
That
do
is
you
an
bench
interesting
De'Aaron
question.
Fox? Do you bench Julian Champagny, who just signed an extension? They're not going to be happy coming off the bench after starting all last season.
That is an interesting question when it comes to that lineup. And perhaps maybe Julian Champagny was given a pretty good contract extension, 3 years, $45 million, partly because they were saying, hey, we might eventually need you to come off of the bench, because the Spurs could have very well been stingy and said, hey, this is what we're offering, or we're just going to accept your $3 million team deal. But they took care of Julian Champagny. Devin Vassell, for a good chunk of the season, came off of the bench. So if best case scenario, LeBron James comes, I think Julian Champagny and Devin Vassell are two team players that would understand this is one of the greatest players of all time, that, yeah, we just have to sort of say, yeah, you can be our starting four. It makes more sense than not.
I think if they had any interest in this at all, they would not have re-signed Harrison Barnes at all, because that's just throwing money away.
No.
If you're going to bring in old Uncle LeBron in.
I disagree. You still probably you can't have too many wings in this NBA, but you certainly need to replace the forwards. So the Spurs have 5 roster spots left. They have not signed either of their first-round picks. Jaden Quayton's, by the way, will be on the Spurs Summer League roster, but he will not play, just there to be part of the team. But you would probably assume that the Spurs are at least signing their 2 first-round picks, and then they have their mid-level exception for $15 million, and all of that can go to LeBron if that's a possibility. And then they have their $5 million biannual exception, which could be used to sign one more player. And then they can always sign a player for the veteran minimum until they hit the hard cap of the first apron, which was a very interesting rule I found when Moses Brown wanted to sign for the rest of the season with the Dallas Mavericks a couple seasons ago, but apparently they couldn't sign him to a minimum contract because they were hard capped by the first apron by his 10-day contract. Wild rules in the NBA these days. However, while the Spurs have Victor Wembanyama, Steph Castle, and Dylan Harper on their rookie contracts, it makes sense to go after at least one more big-name player, and LeBron James sort of really fits that well, where it makes sense that because when it comes to the salary here, and this is almost to your counter here, is we're not talking about a Jaylen Brown where we have to figure out his next contract, or a Giannis Antetokounmpo who we figure out his next contract. LeBron, if he plays beyond 2 more years, he's probably not going to be demanding $30 million a year in his next contract. So, I think
maybe you'll get your wish. You've been talking about this even before free agency started. In the preseason, you were talking about having LeBron on the Spurs. So you've been a LeBron slurper this entire year.
That's not fair. I love LeBron James. He is one of my favorite players of all time. It has been very fun watching his dance with the Spurs over the course of his career.
There is no dance with the Spurs. He hasn't even been asked to dance. So
no, I'm talking about the finals. I'm talking about the 07 finals, the 14, 13 finals, all of the fun that he had a lot of great games here in San Antonio and vice versa, the Spurs against LeBron. So
I don't have any inside information, even though I work for the Spurs, but I really hope they are not flirting with LeBron.
No, of course they are. And I think it would be ridiculous to find out that the Spurs said, we'll pass on LeBron James. So, I get why people are going to be cynical, you among them, LG. However, I think it is ridiculous to be cynical about this. Plain and simple.
LeBron's going to be the next Tracy McGrady for the Spurs if they sign him.
Hey, T-Mac was T-Mac was not playing basketball at that time. When you think about McGrady, when he came to the Spurs, that was the 2013 finals. That was because Steven Jackson had been cut, and then they signed McGrady, and I don't think he was necessarily in basketball shape because he hadn't played basketball.
It's going to be
season.
like having Kevin Willis on the team.
No, oh goodness, no. LeBron James is still one of the most athletic players in the NBA, and that's kind of wild to say about a 42-year-old. So I don't know. Maybe you fell asleep before the West Coast games, but I still enjoy watching LeBron James play.
I watched the
40s.
West Coast games, and I watched LeBron falling asleep in the corner, waiting for a pass every possession.
I will say half of that is because he was playing with Luka Doncic, who demands a high
and he
usage
hated
rate.
it.
Yeah,
and his body language showed, and he never treated Luka like an actual teammate. Do we really want that on the Spurs?
Luka Doncic is not somebody that I would want on the Spurs because he complains to the refs about a foul instead of getting back on defense.
I would take Luka over LeBron any day.
I don't necessarily want to get into that debate because that's obviously an easy conversation for the Lakers. If it came down to Luka or LeBron, you build around Luka. However, if we were talking prime LeBron James, there's no question you'd rather have a prime LeBron
was
James.
obviously upset he wasn't getting as many touches because Luka came in there and took over things. How do you think it's going to feel when Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper are getting all the touches and LeBron's sitting in the corner falling asleep again?
It might be the best thing for him to do at 42 years old, though. And we'll see. The real time that he's the primary ball handler is to push the break. I feel like that's a good use of LeBron James. And
not to mention him about how bored he said he would be in the city of San Antonio because there's absolutely nothing for him to do here.
He did say that. No. And that's sort of the little bummer. But I will say, if that's how you feel about San Antonio, then maybe you still have Austin up the road where there is more to do, and it is a little less of a big deal that you're a Spur / LeBron James. However, that is a different conversation for another day, as I don't know what LeBron James necessarily enjoys to do. Brian Windhorst, he actually said something along the lines of the bare minimum for LeBron in-season entertainment is to have an either indoor or an outdoor golf course. So it's a PGA course here in San Antonio. Am I wrong? Doesn't the PGA?
There's two of them.
Oh wow! There's plenty of great courses here in Central Texas, up and down. You could go out to the golf course in Austin where they used to play the Valero Open, right? So there's a lot of good golf courses in Central Texas. You can golf year round around here. Sean Elliott will tell you about that. Look. I don't think that there's any reason to be cynical about LeBron potentially being a Spur, but if you were to really ask me my percentages, 30%. But stick around for the top of the hour. I will give you the sales pitch for LeBron and joining the Spurs.
Thought you already did.
No. This was just the why it makes sense logically. He's the best player available. If you can get him for nothing, do it. But no, it's better than any trade they could have made with Giannis, Kawhi, etc. But I do want to talk a quick camera segment coming up next here on the starting lineup because I am addicted to cameras and it is one of my favorite things to mess around with cameras. We will share a little bit of that passion on the other side of the break here on Ticket 760.
To make Pops proud to be proud Pops.
I'm Brandon Rackler.
And I'm his brother, Jacob Magny.
Well, brother-ish.
Brandon and I worked side by side with our Pops for more than 20 years, helping make his company so successful he could sell it and retire.
Well, retire-ish. He still keeps tabs on Jake and me.
Brandon and I started Proud Pops because we were proud of the reputation our family built with our customers.
And we wanted to carry on the tradition of service excellence that Pops instilled in us.
Our picture-perfect install is the proof.
When we replace your air conditioner, we take more than 100 pictures to verify a perfect installation down to the very last detail.
Every job is a job we can be proud of.
And another chance to make Pops proud.
Well, proud-ish. He still is a tough man to please.
Proud to make Pops proud to be proud Pops.
Give us a call and we'll pop in.
Visit proudpops.com.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we can calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
Auto accidents can be physically painful and emotionally traumatizing. From damage to you and your car, screeching brakes, the sound of the crash, and slamming into an airbag. So the last thing you need is a bunch of hot air from insurance companies refusing to pay their fair share. That's why you need Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. With over $1 billion won for clients in the past 4 years, it's your turn to make the insurance companies listen. Get your case going today at tjhlaw.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
Texas, it's back. The largest gun show in Texas returns to Bryan College Station. 3 huge days, August 7th, 8th, and 9th. Last year, over 17,000 people showed up. Don't be the one who hears about it after it's gone. Explore 1,500 tables packed with firearms, gear, and more, all under one roof. Free parking, 3 days only. One can't-miss event. Presented by Texas Gun Shows. Get details now at gunshowstx.com. Texas Gun Shows, making gun shows guns again.
The FIFA World Cup is everywhere.
What a strike!
But the only place to hear every game live for free
is iHeartRadio.
Don't miss a moment. Open the app, search World Cup, and listen now.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Chicago, 1989.
White victim, female, pretty, wealthy.
A white woman's murder shocks the city. A black man from the projects comes forward with information about the case.
He says the police are his friends.
But out of nowhere, he goes from star witness to prime suspect.
And then that's it. They turn on him.
The system is hungry for a conviction. Lee Harris is sentenced to 90 years.
I got 90 years for killing somebody I have never seen.
Behind bars, Lee finds an unlikely ally in his cellie, Robert. The pair are like chalk and cheese. There's no way their paths would ever cross on the outside. But as a fellow inmate, Robert sees through the lies and vows to do the unthinkable. Clear Lee's name.
This is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at
Pontiac Correctional Center.
If you're with me, you're golden. I'll take care of you.
Oh, I'm gonna be with you. You stuck with me for life.
Together, they wage a 20-year war against Chicago's darkest corners. Corrupt detectives, jailhouse informants, an entire system built on fear. This is the Crying Wolf Podcast, a story of 2 men bound by injustice, a friendship forged where hope is almost lost, of a city haunted by its secrets, and the quest for redemption, no matter the price. Listen to the Crying Wolf Podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
He bleeds silver and black. Back to Karl Schoening in the starting lineup.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm your host, Karl Schoening, and we have breaking news from Shams Charania. Is there a sounder, LG? Sounder? No?
I had one somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
No worries. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, which I think...
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Well, there you go. Breaking news sounder. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh no. We got to do a lot more than that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't grow up in the 90s where you had a nice memory. That's the breaking news sounder of the 90s from A Current Affair.
So wow. So on Shane's page, if you go to his sounds, he has something really funny with Anchorman, but let's not get into that right now.
I've used that one many times. That's the oldest breaking news sounder, overused.
And to be honest with you, actually, now that you've played it a couple times, I do like that subtle tone, but like I think we need just sort of like a little bit more of an alert to, match the over dramatization of the NBA and free agency. So Marcus Smart has signed a 2-year deal worth $13 million with the Houston Rockets, plus a player option on that second season, sources told ESPN. So Ime Udoka reunites with Marcus Smart as he left the Lakers yesterday as well. And he is one of those dominoes that I suppose maybe that is a move. We're going to talk about this throughout the show because LeBron's going to just dominate the show. But maybe that is a move the Rockets made to try and get LeBron. I don't know. Maybe the Rockets were told they weren't going to get LeBron, so they brought Marcus Smart in. But perhaps a move there to try and say, hey, we got one of your former teammates. I have no idea how close LeBron is with Marcus Smart. One other note here, you broke my heart. I thought that we were seeing some legitimate news and legitimate rumors. Apparently, everything is fake about the camera I was excited about. But Sony will be announcing a new camera soon, and I also was good with your guesses, LG.
Yeah, you fell for some AI slop, apparently, and rumors. Don't believe anything until it comes from the official source, which is Sony themselves, but... yeah, let's not bore people with technical camera talk.
All I know is it's probably good that all I want is a global shutter, because global shutter means that you can freeze action a little bit easier.
Do you really need it?
I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a wish list of a perfect camera, and it might
doesn't
eventually
exist.
Yeah, it will never exist.
No,
probably.
There is no perfect camera. There's a camera for the purpose and a use case scenario only.
Yeah, I do think that there is a lot of fun to be had with cameras, but you're right. We probably won't have to bore people too much about it. But plenty of things happening in the NBA. Certainly LeBron James is one of them. Marcus Smart being a new member of the Houston Rockets. That is certainly one of the interesting developments. Bogdan Bogdanović has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Houston Rockets as well, as that was dropped 7 hours ago. And also one of the Spurs free agents is off of the board. Potential free agent targets, I should say. Let me rephrase that. One of the potential free agent targets for the Spurs is off of the board. Defensive floor spacer Dean Wade had agreed to a 4-year, $39 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Good for Dean Wade. I don't necessarily think that anybody was going to give him a better offer than that. So plenty to talk about in terms of the NBA in the free agency period, which has been a little bit slow because of LeBron James. But I have a sales pitch for LeBron James when we come back here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
Do you have a car that you just don't like, or you owe too much and your payments are too high?
Then now's the time to bring it in to World Car Kia South.
Swap cars during the Summer Sticker Sales event and get 0% financing on a new 26 Kia Sportage.
Or 0% on 26 Sorrentos too.
Plus, everyone gets lifetime warranty and lifetime roadside assistance.
Visit World Car Kia South and save.
I-35, exit Palo Alto. Kia, World Car Kia.
All offers with approved credit through KMF.
4th of July savings are happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Upgrade your kitchen with a modern and sleek GE Profile refrigerator featuring hands-free autofill for the perfect pour every time. And make laundry day easier with 2-in-1 washer-dryer combo innovation that completes laundry in about 90 minutes. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th to July 8th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating.
Keep celebrating when you bundle and save with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
We've all been there. You start a DIY project thinking it'll be simple, but then something doesn't look right or doesn't work at all. I'm George Salinas with Absolute Power. Whether you're just getting started, halfway through, or realizing a project's gone a little sideways, we're here to help. From small fixes to big electrical repairs, we step in and get you back on track. Call today at 210-904-1521 or visit absolute-pwr.com to schedule your free estimate. Absolute Power Electrical Contractors, at your service.
You could have someone else remodel your home, but then you'd have to live in it. Call KM Builders at 680-KMCO.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we got a lot of food in this country. A lot of peaches, a lot of corn, a lot of apples, a lot of everything. We've got so much food that we can't even eat it all. So if we got all this extra food, how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? I just don't get it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to the hungry kids who need it. They can get you food even if you live in Idaho or Alaska or somewhere crazy like that. This isn't complicated. We got extra food and we've got hungry kids. Feeding America's done the math. Now it's your turn. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. I know you got internet on your phone, so what are you waiting for? We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Ticket 760, KTKR San Antonio, your home for sports. Guaranteed human. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. This is the starting lineup. Here's your host, Karl Schoening.
Hour 2 of the starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm Karl Schoening, starting at your host and the voice coming through your speakers. LG is in the starting lineup with me as our technical director, making sure we look good on YouTube and sound good going out over the airwaves. We have plenty to talk about in the NBA free agency. As I have been saying all show, it is very exciting to at least talk about the idea of where LeBron James might go. It feels like it just fills the segments. I want to make a sales pitch to LeBron to come here to San Antonio, and I have several things that I want to start with as sort of the why San Antonio makes sense. So Brian Windhorst said that he thinks part of this posturing, waiting of LeBron James to sign with whatever team he actually ends up signing with, whether that be one of the 14 teams or he has a more narrow list of like 5 or 6. You hear plenty of names thrown out there, and I don't think that any of the ones that we've really been hearing, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers, full circle moment, Golden State Warriors, or Miami Heat. 2 of them, obviously, his former teams. One of them is former nemesis in the Warriors, but you do have Steph Curry on the Golden State Warriors, and that's the draw there. Apparently, according to Brian Windhorst, none of these teams are necessarily appealing at the moment, and part of the sales pitch to LeBron will be being able to pull off the moves needed to make them more attractive to LeBron. So in a weird way, the general thought from Windhorst, who I think is at least very familiar with LeBron's thinking, if not at least tuned into a little bit more of what's happening behind the scenes, where he can talk to Rich Paul and stuff like that, which I will admit, I don't have Rich Paul's phone number. I've never spoken to Rich Paul, so I try to at least listen to him. In fact, LG, I meant to ask if you saw my message about some Rich Paul sound. If nothing else, I can sort of paraphrase. Okay, so actually, yes, you have that sound?
Yeah.
I forget exactly what he said, but I think that it's very much appropriate to what I'm saying here, where half the league is interested in signing LeBron James. For some reason, the most powerful agent in sports has a podcast, which I think is very NBA on so many levels. He's on it with Max Kellerman, and let's go ahead and hear what Max and Rich Paul were talking about yesterday on their podcast.
How much would winning a championship contribute to his happiness?
I just think it's more so along the lines of having the ability to compete for the possibility of winning a championship.
So the Knicks having just won, I imagine, lowers the odds that it would be the Knicks.
I don't know. I can't
be joining a championship team. The Spurs.
I won't get into teams, Max, but you could do that. I'll listen. Go ahead. You can go through the whole league.
So let me ask you: have the Spurs called?
I've talked to probably about 12 to 14 teams. You can let your imagination run.
And the Golden State Warriors and Spurs are too. Okay. Does market matter?
As long as they're indoor and outdoor golf, Max, I think he'll be fine.
Right. They got indoor golf in Minnesota, right?
So the lead question there was happiness, and that's what Brian Windhorst has been reporting is happiness. And I think I contributed the indoor-outdoor golf thing to Windy as well, but apparently it was Rich Paul who, happiness is maybe a bit overblown in the media, and that's just kind of the word being tossed around. Maybe we even overblew it a little bit when we talked about it earlier, but Brian Windhorst says this is about happiness. Let's throw that out and talk about what would make LeBron James happy over the course of an 82-game regular season, right? And this is where we were talking about teams are going to make moves to build around LeBron. LeBron's all the Spurs need. They don't need to make any moves at all. The Spurs do have the flexibility and ability to make other moves should they need to over the course of an 82-game season. But the big rumor around the Warriors was that LeBron was going to team up with Anthony Davis again. It came out through many credible sources yesterday that Anthony Davis is not going to be traded from the Wizards, and they hope to sign a contract extension with Anthony Davis. So don't think that the Warriors are necessarily going to be the spot there for LeBron. Plus, LeBron would have to wear a different number. He can't wear 6 anymore since it's retired by Bill Russell, and 23 is taken by Draymond Green. It would be very interesting to see Draymond give up 23, but there's sort of all the 23 jerseys you see that are currently in circulation are Draymond. And then there is like this Warriors history with LeBron where they met several times in the finals, and I think, he couldn't get past the Warriors except for that 3-1 comeback that he had. So I'm not 100% sold on the Warriors. But on top of that, say they can't get Anthony Davis, you're talking about Steph Curry, who may or may not be better than LeBron James. So LeBron might actually still be the best player on the Warriors if he were to sign with them. And then you're dealing with Jimmy Butler coming back in February. More credible reports coming out that Jimmy Butler is not going to be traded from Golden State. And then Kristaps Porzingis, unfortunately, has never really gotten the whole health thing together. I hope he is healthy, no matter whether LeBron's playing there or not. I enjoy watching Kristaps play basketball, but I think you're talking about a potentially frustrating situation in Golden State. So how is Golden State going to drastically change their roster? I don't know how they can change it enough to where LeBron still isn't potentially the best player on that team. We always have this wild card of Jaylen Brown out there, but Rich Paul says that there are 12 to 14 teams that he's going to be talking to, and you can let your imagination run wild. Feels like pretty much that's anybody that has a legitimate pitch here, right? So this is my pitch. LeBron's all the Spurs need to win a championship. If the only other team that could probably say that is the Knicks, to repeat, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think every other team is not necessarily a LeBron James away from winning a championship, right? So you can go through the league, as you said, with Rich Paul. Like, are the Denver Nuggets going to win a championship with LeBron and Nikola Jokic? You at least take that LeBron being the best player on the team out of the equation, like I've been talking about with the Warriors, because obviously Jokic will be a good player to play next to LeBron, I suppose. But I don't think that, again, just like the Spurs doing their due diligence on the best free agent available, the Nuggets are going to do their due diligence. So is a agreement from LeBron James, if the Nuggets can trade for Jaylen Brown, enough for LeBron to sign with Denver? Sure, yeah. Maybe Jaylen Brown, Nikola Jokic, and LeBron James is the new NBA Big Three, and maybe LeBron's good friends with Nikola Jokic. I don't know LeBron personally enough, but I do think that they need to make a move like that. And Portland Trailblazers, same thing. I'm sure that they're going to reach out and say, hey, would LeBron have any interest in playing in Portland? Probably not. But, they have to at least try. And if the Blazers say, what moves do we need to make for LeBron to think that Portland is the place he should be? And Rich Paul throws out whatever it is that he needs to throw out, and maybe that's enough of a reason for the Blazers to trade for Jaylen Brown, etc. I bring that up because he's very much going to be a interesting conversation point. The Jaylen Brown trade might actually be part of these conversations where the Celtics get more money. Boston Celtics, they too say, hey, this is what we can offer you. However, I do want to say, part of the sales pitch here for the Spurs, aside from the Spurs don't need to make any roster changes and LeBron could be just the missing piece to a championship, and LeBron can not have to worry about handling the ball with the three-headed point guard monster that the Spurs have, etc. And the thing is, the Spurs can also offer just as much money as everybody. The only two teams that LeBron, obviously, the only three teams that can offer more money than the Spurs are the Lakers, who LeBron, obviously, is not going to be returning to, the Chicago Bulls, which that would be, might as well, hey, if you're the Chicago Bulls, say, LeBron, you want to come to Chicago? I don't see why not. And the Brooklyn Nets. And of course the Brooklyn Nets are going to see if LeBron wants to sign with them. But would LeBron want to be on either of those two teams, Chicago or Brooklyn? So money is not going to be an issue in this one. However, the Spurs are among the teams that can offer that. I'm going to pull it up with Bobby Marks right now. Bobby Marks had a pretty easy to read breakdown of who has money to spend in free agency. He is reacting to a lot of stuff here, but when it came down to it, in terms of non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which the San Antonio Spurs have in $15 million, here are the teams that can offer that $15 million just like the Spurs. Atlanta, Boston, Charlotte, Dallas, Detroit, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, Milwaukee, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Portland, San Antonio, Utah, Washington. Every single one of those teams needs to just say, hey, we have $15 million for you, LeBron. You want to come here and try and win a championship in Detroit? Atlanta? Dallas? Like I said, everybody's going to reach out to him, and everybody needs to make a move to impress LeBron except for the Spurs. And when it comes to New York City, the only thing that the Knicks can offer LeBron is a vet minimum. So do I think that the Spurs are going to get LeBron? It went up from 5% going into free agency to maybe like 30% now. And hey, I don't know. Isn't that how predictive markets work? LG, is there a predictive market that we should check? Didn't the predictive markets get Giannis going to the Heat correct like the day before it happened?
They get a lot of things correct and a lot of things incorrect, but they are more correct than incorrect. But I don't trust bookmakers because bookmakers work for the house, and the house always wins. One team that you haven't mentioned yet that I think may be in the play, depending on what happens with James Harden's contract, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron going home and finishing out his career in Cleveland.
I think that would be the hero path, right? Because if he were to sign with pretty much anybody in the Western Conference, I think that would be sort of a, I guess, counter to his legacy with the Lakers. Maybe he doesn't care about that. I don't think he does necessarily. But if he were to sign with the Spurs, then the Lakers aren't winning the championship.
Where does his jersey go up to hang? In Cleveland? In Miami? In L.A.?
Oh, everywhere. Anywhere LeBron
plays.
plays.
You think they're going to retire in all those places? Where does it go up first?
Oh, Cleveland for sure. If LeBron has 3 jersey retirements his first career, it's Cleveland. No, but even the Cavaliers, apparently, this is coming from Brian Windhorst, even the Cavaliers are going to need to make a trade
they have to make LeBron moves. And James Harden is it's rumored that he's willing to make some concessions on how much he extends his contract for to make room for a LeBron James to come home to Cleveland.
Yes, and that's actually a very good point that you bring up there. That was a little surprising that Harden opted out of his contract, but he did so in order to try and help facilitate LeBron James to Cleveland.
And it's not like Cleveland was a bad team last season.
No,
they went deep into the playoffs.
They got swept by the Knicks, but obviously they did have a little bit of a struggle against the Raptors, 7-game series. The Raptors got better. That is also my point here is there really a team that needs to they are LeBron James away from winning a championship? I think it's just the Spurs. I really do think that there's not another team that if you say, hey, all you do is add LeBron James, you're going to win a championship, and LeBron will be happy because he's LeBron. 2 years with LeBron James would be phenomenal. Give him, whatever you can offer him and whatever he wants to accept. That would be What I would say to every
disagree
team,
that the Spurs are a LeBron James away from winning a championship. I disagree on that.
That would have probably won the Spurs the finals. If you add LeBron James to the Spurs in the finals, I think that the Spurs win the championship.
Maybe last season, but we're talking about a new season, a rebuilt Eastern Conference. Other teams have made moves. Western Conference, everything's different this season.
Not particularly scared of anybody if you're the Spurs. I think that the Spurs proved that they are the best in the West, and the only team that
took them 7 games to get out of the West.
Hey, but that's fine. Hey, don't forget, De'Aaron Fox was injured for the entire series and missed 2 games as well. So if everybody is healthy, I think that it's still Spurs versus Oklahoma City, but the Spurs, if they can add LeBron James, then it is certainly another championship or bust type of season, which is really great to be talking about if you're the Spurs.
All right, I'm sure you'll be first in line to pick up your LeBron jersey if that does happen.
I have not bought a Spurs jersey or basketball jersey in a long time. I would probably buy a LeBron James Spurs jersey.
I'm sure you would.
That would be a lot of fun. No, for sure. Okay. No, that's my pitch. The Spurs, they're just a LeBron James away. We don't need to do any shuffling. And even if the other teams do shuffle, the Spurs with LeBron is better than any team that shuffled around adding LeBron as well. That's how confident I am in the San Antonio Spurs and their ability to get back to the finals. And again, you just got to do your due diligence. And like Rich Paul said earlier in this segment, half the league is basically looking to see if LeBron is interested in joining them. And why not? He's one of the GOATs of the game. So he could be the GOAT, depending on who you ask. I have my thoughts on that, but we don't have time for that here in this segment. We'll come back here, and we'll talk about other moves that happen in NBA free agency. Check out other things happening in the sports world here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
We have always been a nation of givers, giving a hand, giving hope, giving possibility, giving joy, giving opportunity, giving dignity. Imagine what could happen if we all gave at the same time. Giving forth. Take the pledge and give to the causes you care about at America250.org.
This is Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. For nearly 20 years, we've focused on one thing, fixing pain fast. More than 8,000 physicians trust us with their patients, and we've successfully treated over 2 million people nationwide. At Arasti, we find the root cause of your pain and resolve it quickly. Most patients recover in just 3 to 4 visits. No long-term treatment plans, no gimmicks, just proven results. So don't wait. Visit Arasti.com and schedule today. That's AIRROSTI.com. We fix pain fast.
Have you purchased your Connecticut quality water softener yet? If not, what are you waiting for? You need to take advantage of this great offer right now. Interest-free financing for 12 months and a free reverse osmosis system. So you don't have to pay any interest for a year, and you get great tasting water right there at your kitchen sink. Have you ever opened up the dishwasher and seen a lot of spots and looking like your dishes aren't that clean? That is hard water. Same can go for your clothes when they come out of the washing machine. Same can come for yourself when you get out of the shower. And the money that you spend on a Connecticut quality water softener, you're likely going to save because you're not going to have repair bills trying to fix or replace your appliances, and you're not going to have to call a plumber all the time because of all that bad water going through your pipes. It's an amazing offer. Interest-free financing for 12 months, a free reverse osmosis system. When you purchase a Connecticut quality water softener, it's the best and last water softener you're ever going to own. Call them today at 656-PURE, 656-7873. Love your water. Get a Connecticut quality water softener, ConnecticutUSA.com.
When you're fighting the insurance companies, it can feel like David and Goliath. Let Thomas J. Henry level the playing field and give your case the strength it needs. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. TJHLaw.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
Place your bets and win big this summer at Retama Park with live quarter horse racing every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday through August 22nd. Catch back-to-back fireworks shows July 3rd and 4th. Free admission on Independence Day. Camel, ostrich, and zebra races start July 17th and 18th. General admission is $5. Military and first responders free on Thursdays. Purchase tickets, see the entire bid schedule, and make dining reservations at RetamaPark.com. Feel the rush. Big payouts this summer only at Retama Park.
The The global stage is lit. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is on.
It's Austin Trusty's first career goal for the United States!
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Messi scores the goal to make him the World Cup's all-time leading scorer.
Don't miss Team USA's next match tonight at 8 Eastern.
Into the knockout round.
Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
Just search World Cup.
The world is listening.
Are you?
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
1971. It was a simpler time, a groovy time. Soul Train had just started chugging along. Everyone had a lava lamp for some reason. Weeble started to wobble, but as we all know, they don't fall down.
It's really something.
But it wasn't all Weebles and bell-bottoms. There was also the Vietnam War and a growing nationwide movement protesting it.
Look behind you. See the thousands marching today.
Across the country, people were speaking up, and the more they did, the more they learned about the hidden underbelly of the most powerful law enforcement agency in the land. I'm Ed Helms, host of Snafu, Season 2, Medberg, the story of a daring heist that exposed J. Edgar Hoover's epic FBI snafu. Hear the incredible true story that almost got buried.
I was told that it might not be published the next day or might not be published ever.
As told by the ordinary citizens who took extraordinary measures.
Getting caught was virtually inevitable.
To expose J. Edgar Hoover's secret FBI.
Many of the techniques were clearly illegal, but justified in the interest of national security.
If it meant some risks that were involved, well, that's what citizens sometimes have to do.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Your ticket for the best Spurs talk. Back to the starting lineup.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm your host, Karl Schoening. Happy you guys joined us here on a Wednesday edition, July 1st. Here in 2026, I'm Karl Schoening, and in the starting lineup with me is LG. You can join us on YouTube this morning. Hanover Fist says, thanks for getting me through my run. You can also like, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you're watching over YouTube. Welcome in anybody who's joining us on our frequency, AM 760, The Ticket. LG, one of the things is you can buy us a coffee, and I appreciate that because I am out of caffeine. I've been out of caffeine since the first hour. So
I thought you sounded well caffeinated when you showed up here this morning.
I do have a lot of caffeine before every show. I am always well caffeinated,
well,
but I can always buy more.
Yeah, you can help refuel Karl's caffeine addiction by going to buymeacoffee.com/the-starting-lineup, and that will allow you to give us a little donation, a little tippy tip. If you like the show, we appreciate all the love, and we'll use that money to either buy some coffee or some breakfast tacos after the show, or maybe even use it to improve our situation. Maybe get that camera that Karl wants so bad, or get another microphone, something like that. We always want to improve this show, so appreciate all you guys that have donated in the past.
Yes, thank y'all. And oh man, I have a rule to keep myself from buying the cameras that I really want to buy, is that I have to have a plan for return on investment. But
it's a good plan.
It's also one of these things as a sports broadcaster who doesn't really use my cameras to make money the way I used to when I was focused on the production company side of things. I have to draw a line of how much money I'll spend on what's now just become an enthusiast hobby of mine, and I need to find other ways to make money. I did a photo shoot, by the way. It was really successful over at House of Rhythm, a yoga studio here in town for yoga photography, and I need to just find more ways to make money. But sports photography, I just know too many of them, and I wouldn't want to take any of their jobs. So, but you and I were talking about a global shutter, and man, if I did get into sports photography, I think I'd probably want to drop like $10,000 on an A9 III or whatever.
Not necessary.
Else. Yeah, no, it's not necessary, but it doesn't.
If you need a global shutter to take good pictures, then you're a terrible photographer.
Well, it's just such a fast-paced thing being a field sports photographer, and there
plenty of cameras in the past. film cameras didn't have global shutters, and great pictures have been made.
No, I know for sure. It's more about having all of the fun toys of an expensive camera and then thus using it to their best abilities.
Your best bet,
yeah.
Find a job with a company that has the gear that allows you to use those types of expensive equipment. So you don't have to foot the bill.
I guess I do sort of already work for the Spurs and talk to Taylor Hare constantly about what the Spurs content team uses. They used to use a Raptor, a red Raptor, because it had a global shutter.
Yeah, all the cameras I use for the Spurs and SAFC have global shutters.
Yeah, I mean it's just a very nice feature to have. But
they
you're
also
right.
cost $350,000.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, not the Sony A93 though. The A93 is I could probably get $5,000, good condition, on used market, but still, I'm not dropping $5,000 on a camera unless I'm going to make it my source of income. And anyhow, I digress on the conversation there. But yes, thank you for buying me coffee up on our YouTube. I do want to go through some news around the league, and everything is quiet because LeBron James has essentially made a lot of the other big dominoes in free agency not fall right away. And I also think teams are being a lot more conscious about contract negotiations right now because we live in this apron world. It's not as rubber stamp a max contract as it used to be. So the Jalen Duren situation is very interesting in Detroit, where the Pistons have come out and, they, I guess, had to do some counter espionage to some of the espionage that's being put out there, where there was rumors that maybe there would be a sign and trade available for Jalen Duren. No, essentially what the Pistons have done is decided to say, Jalen, go out and find the best offer. We're probably going to match it. So instead of just rubber stamping a max contract to your guy, you now put it up to the Brooklyn Nets, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Chicago Bulls are the three teams with salary cap space. And Jalen Duren to the Los Angeles Lakers to replace LeBron James makes all the sense for what apparently has been coming out of the Luka Doncic side of things, of what he wants is an A-list big man. Jalen Duren is probably the best available, and the money will be spent there. However, you have to probably understand, if you're the Lakers, that Jalen Duren on a tender that you would have to offer him in restricted free agency on an offer sheet will probably be matched no matter what by the Pistons. The Pistons are probably, they're an asset management business, and they will be able to trade Jalen Duren for whatever contract, if they really ever needed to trade Jalen Duren. But that's just the reality we live in, is with teams sort of being in these scenarios where they want to save as much money and get market value for players instead of just defaulting to the max contract to keep your player around. There's going to be shopping like that. I think the Lakers have to figure out if they can. The only thing about offering Jalen Duren is I'm pretty sure the Lakers would like to keep Rui Hachimura, and that is a potential target for the Spurs. So, I know I've been talking about LeBron, but really if it came down to it right now, of the players that are left, especially, with Dean Wade now on the 76ers for a 4-year deal, Rui Hachimura kind of makes the most sense. John Collins is still out there, but all of these guys aren't going to get their contracts until the LeBron James situation is handled, because John Collins and Rui Hachimura and LeBron James all make sense for the same 14 teams in the league. The team's willing to pay them somewhere in the MLE. So I would imagine that the 6 teams that are seriously interested in Rui Hachimura and John Collins are basically telling those two guys, hey, we got to kind of wait on the LeBron thing, in which case the Lakers need to do their due diligence on Jalen Duren right away. But again, Jalen Duren being a restricted free agent will pretty much just be matched right away by the Pistons. And that's just the reality of the world we live in these days, where restricted free agents are going to have to get the best offer and know that that offer is probably just going to be immediately matched. Somebody who is an unrestricted free agent, that would be interesting if the Spurs, maybe wanted to go for somebody who sort of fits the timeline, is Jonathan Kuminga. I really think that he's another guy that'll be on the dominoes that fall as soon as LeBron James is signed somewhere else. It's going to be all those guys immediately have basically their contracts, signed and sealed and delivered. It'll come down fast and furious. We thought that yesterday it would come down fast and furious because that's the way that NBA free agency used to work back in the days where Woj and Shams were constantly competing for information. These days, you have a little bit slower because they got called out for tampering on releasing those like sign-in trades that were agreed to 30 seconds after free agency. Like it wasn't a good look for the thought process of tampering. So this news comes out a little bit slower, but also, like I said, LeBron's just sort of tying up the money as he ties up free agency. But those are the guys that, as soon as LeBron is done, I imagine will be off the board within 6 hours. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I think that's why the Lakers need to, if they're going to extend any kind of offer sheet to Jalen Duren, they need to go ahead and do it now, because I think it's only 2 days, so teams don't have their money tied up or like changes, but there's been a little bit of a change on how long a team can match an offer sheet. But I think that would be what makes sense for the Lakers. However, the Lakers are probably not going to get Jalen Duren, and they'll have to figure out how to spend that money before they sign Austin Reeves to his max extension. Otherwise, they are no longer a team operating underneath the salary cap. So a lot of things happening in the world of the NBA math. That is the offseason, and of course, not just LeBron James. And we'll go through the actual signings when we come back here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
This is San Antonio FC Insider, brought to you by Methodist.
Did you know that San Antonio FC's head coach Carlos Llamosa played for the U.S. men's national team in the 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea? Well, that squad made it all the way to the quarterfinals, which is the furthest the U.S. men has ever made it in the tournament. He recalls bars in the U.S. being open at 4 a.m. and making breakfast for the U.S. soccer matches. Colombian news stations were going to his parents' house for interviews in the middle of the night as he was playing live. Luckily, match times are a little more bearable this year, and you can watch U.S. men play tonight at 7 p.m. That's today's SAFC Insider. I'm Katie Goodman.
Severe stomach cramps, trouble breathing, back pain? Don't diagnose yourself. For emergency medical care, leave it to the experts at one of our Methodist Healthcare ER locations. When it's an emergency, count on our trusted care teams and convenient locations. Our ERs offer high-quality emergency care 24/7. Choose emergency medical care wisely. Choose Methodist Healthcare. Find a location near you at sahealth.com/ER.
Stop dreaming and start fishing. Memorial Weekend to Labor Day. Fish all summer with the CCA Star Tournament. Reel in one of over $2 million in prizes and scholarships. Catch a tagged redfish to win a Ford F-150 truck and boat package. 10 divisions in all. Real people win real prizes. Sponsored by Texas Ford Dealers, Academy Sports and Outdoors, and Progressive Insurance, Transport, Dargle Boats, and Lone Star Beer. Sign up at startournament.org. Sign up now.
This feeling is brought to you by Aleve for back pain relief. What feeling is that, you ask? Well, it's the feeling you feel when you have relief from back pain. That move how you want to, not how you have to feeling. That keep going through your day without slowing down feeling. The kind that brings you back to yourself all day long without interruption. Oh yeah. Because Aleve offers long-lasting pain relief. Feel up to 12 hours of back pain relief with one dose. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
iHeartRadio Did You Know? Presented by iHeartRadio. You know, what you're listening to right now. Did you know that at iHeartRadio, one of our biggest pet peeves is dead air? That pause you get between the songs when you're listening to a baller playlist, or the gaps in your soundtrack when you're trying to set the mood. It kills the energy, destroys the vibe. See, at iHeartRadio, we believe it's not just the music curation in your playlist that matters, but also the music presentation. So we've spent years figuring out how to guarantee a flow that never stops. Smart music transitions that seamlessly bridge one song to the next when you listen to artist radio or playlists on iHeartRadio. So we make sure the flow is never interrupted. It's just one of the ways that we try to make your music sound even better. Check it out for yourself. Tap on the playlist tab in the iHeartRadio app and find something you like. Or type in the name of your favorite artist and listen to the difference that gap-free smart transitions make to your music flow. And it's only on iHeartRadio. #1 for music, radio, and podcasting, all in one app.
Strong coffee, stronger taste. Back to Karl Schoening in the starting lineup.
Oh, what I would give for some strong coffee right now. I'm also out of water. I had, I guess, an entire liter so far on the show. I like to stay hydrated. Hopefully you are staying hydrated as well. I'm Karl Schoening, host of the starting lineup. LG in the starting lineup with me. And what's the breaking news sounder, LG? Fire it. It fits the show, actually. I don't need Ron Burgundy to mess up 7 seconds of the show for something that might be overplayed. That's actually a nice little soft tone. This comes down from Shams Charania from ESPN. Crossed him off of the list. I told you maybe the Spurs would be interested in him. Free agent John Collins has agreed to a 3-year, $51 million deal to sign with the Detroit Pistons. Sources tell ESPN. And I love John Collins to the Pistons for the same reason I love John Collins to any team. He is a very good complementary piece. He will fit in. Like I said, they're going to re-sign Jalen Duren for sure. He's going to fit in really well right next to Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham. You have another lob threat. You have a floor-spacing big man. And I think this is the good payday for John Collins that he deserves. So congratulations to John Collins on getting a 3-year, $51 million contract and not waiting for LeBron James to slow things down here in free agency. So, that is one of the many signings that has happened here in the most recent moments of NBA free agency. Earlier this morning, Marcus Smart agreed to a 2-year, $13 million deal with the Houston Rockets. So, a little bit more perimeter defense for Houston, and we'll have to see what that means for Reed Shepherd's playing time when we get into it, because Fred VanVleet also comes back into the fold, and the guy that was taken the 3rd overall pick right before Steph Castle, Reed Shepherd, gets into a bit more of a crowded backcourt, and certainly his 3rd year will be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Bogdan Bogdanović agreed to a 1-year deal with the Houston Rockets as well. Dean Wade agreed to a 4-year, $39 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's because a lot of contenders pursued him, but he's going to be a really good defensive shooting forward for the Philadelphia 76ers. I like that move for Philly. And 4 years is a fairly long time. I wouldn't be surprised if the reporting that comes from Jake Fisher that the Spurs are preferring to only sign players to 2-year deals is accurate, because these guys are signing 4-year deals, and the Spurs have to worry about their 3 guys on rookie contracts and their extensions as well. And Steph Castle will be his extension will kick in the end of 2 years. So that's why it kind of makes sense for the Spurs salary cap timeline to maybe not sign either one of those deals, Dean Wade for 4 years or John Collins for 3. Just throwing spitball ideas out there, obviously. If the Spurs end up signing, I'm just going to throw it out there, LeBron James for 3 years, don't say that I was, I guess, inaccurate in their reporting. That's not me reporting it. Hey, old name. Zach Collins signs a 2-year, $17 million contract extension with the Chicago Bulls. That is another forward off of the board. And Luke Kennard agreed to a 2-year, $13 million deal with the Phoenix Suns. And the Also, free agent guard Keon Ellis agreed to a 2-year, $18 million guaranteed deal with the Brooklyn Nets. So I think that eats into some of the cap space that the Brooklyn Nets have. But free agency continued with Kobe Sanders signing a 4-year, $11 million deal. And we are getting into, like I said, some of these smaller guys signing their contracts because it's easy enough to be agreed upon before the big dominoes of the restricted free agents and LeBron James are there. And not a free agent signing, but obviously the Kawhi Leonard trade went down. The Raptors traded Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, a pick swap, and 2 second-rounders for Kawhi Leonard. And Tim Hardaway Jr. signed with the Miami Heat. So that's a good move for the Heat to add a shooter. And, of course, free agency kicked off with DeAndre Jordan signing a deal with the New Orleans Pelicans for his 19th NBA season. Do you have a Gig'em sounder, LG? No? Yes?
Hell no!
No. Okay, no. Gig'em for DeAndre Jordan. I love everything Texas, to be honest with you guys. By the way, here's we wrap up the segment. Congratulations to Texas State. They are officially members of the Pac-12 as of today. They had a midnight party out at Jim Wacker Field, Bobcat Stadium, UFCU Bobcat Stadium. Is that's the official sponsor?
That's correct.
Yeah. You drive by it fairly often, right, LG?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a beautiful college D1 stadium that isn't extremely big. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it has a nice tone of what Texas State is, but it's not like it's not overly big in terms of, I guess, maybe certain places that are too big for schools of that size. But they're going to probably have an expansion. I wouldn't be surprised if they close the bowl or something along. They did kind of close the bowl a little bit, actually, but add seats and stuff like that because the Pac-12, that's a big deal for Texas State. What else is going on in the world of college, I guess, as we just talk a little bit more here to wrap up the segment. Texas State going to the Pac-12, though. I will have to get Kef Chardello on. No need to talk anything else for college sports. But I do think that, I missed this too. Oh, cool. I did miss one signing that I have to report. Free agent. Oh, hey. No. This isn't breaking news. Although I will check to see if there's breaking news. I have a Twitter notification. Free agent forward Ousmane Dieng also agreed to a 3-year, $17.5 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yeah, LG, you know anything about Ousmane Dieng?
No.
No. Okay, so I might be losing people here. No. But anyway, John Collins signing with the Detroit Pistons, the newest move. Shams Charania is that tweet notification that I had, and he just was following up on that, saying the Pistons pursued Collins as their top target to assume an expected starting role of power forward, completing a deal with his agent, Sean Kennedy and Jeff Schwartz of Excel Sports Management this morning. I need an agent, LG. That sounds like a nice 10% there to those guys. $51 million over 3 years for John Collins to the Detroit Pistons. And yeah, like I said, he is a starting complimentary power forward. You can play him off the bench, and that's probably one of your best players coming off of the bench. And any which way, John Collins to the Pistons is a winning recipe. And I think that the Pistons, they're obviously going to be making their moves as well. So there's a lot going on in the NBA, and we will be keeping up with all the maneuvering. We'll wrap up the show, and I'm hoping for another one of those breaking news sounders with a Shams bomb when we come back here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
Does your car or truck start smoothly? Do you have any hesitation problems when you hit the gas? A BG Platinum 44K fuel system cleaner will take care of that. It'll clean the entire fuel system. It'll restore your engine's performance and reduce exhaust emissions. You'll have no power loss when you go up that hill. A BG Platinum 44K fuel system cleaner is rated #1 among automotive professionals. Be good to your car. Add BG Platinum 44K to your tank after every oil change. To find a BG professional, visit bgfindashop.com today.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
There's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Listen to Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
After an auto accident, you might be feeling battered and bruised, even if you were wearing a seatbelt. Well, now's the time to hire Thomas J. Henry Law to get in the ring for you. Thomas J. Henry Law. Get started at tjhlaw.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
People ask me why we offer free estimates. I'm George Salinas with Absolute Power, and the answer is simple. Because you deserve a clear answer before you spend your money. A free estimate lets us look at your job, explain your options, and give you honest pricing with no pressure. Call today at 210-904-1521 or visit absolute-pwr.com to schedule your free estimate. Absolute Power Electrical Contractors, at your service.
Buying a car from Wilcar Hyundai is easy and fun. And this is the month to save as well. Like 0.99% financing on 2026 Hyundai Tucsons or 1.99% on 26 Santa Fe's and even $2,000 bonus cash on 26 Elantras. Plus, every new vehicle comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and Hyundai Owner's Assurance. Get upfront posted pricing and a great experience only at Wilcar Hyundai North or Wilcar Hyundai South. Wilcar, for a lifetime.
The proof credit to HMF.
This year, Macy's is celebrating 50 years of fireworks. So come celebrate with us in style and take 50% off swim, 50% off sunglasses, 50% off grilling tools, 50 years of fireworks. 50% off throughout the entire store. That's a celebration only Macy's can deliver. Shop Macy's July 4th sale and see our 50th fireworks Saturday on NBC and Peacock. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
Texas, it's back. The largest gun show in Texas returns to Bryan College Station. 3 huge days, August 7th, 8th, and 9th. Last year, over 17,000 people showed up. Don't be the one who hears about it after it's gone. Explore 1,500 tables packed with firearms, gear, and more, all under one roof. Free parking, 3 days only. One can't-miss event. Presented by Texas Gun Shows. Get details now at gunshowstx.com. Texas Gun Shows, making gun shows guns again.
Summer is on its way, and it's going to be super hot again. You can count on that. If your air conditioning system isn't up to par, or if you need a new one, it's time to call Manuel & Sons. At Manuel & Sons, right now, you can get a 1.5 to 5-ton Frederick 15-seater for just $77.95. Need a spring tune-up? Right now, only $89. Certified technicians, local company, someone actually answers the phone. If your system is struggling, call today, 549-4839, 549-4839, manuelandsons.com.
Some people bring joy wherever they go, some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passiton.com.
No B team here. This is the starting lineup with Karl Schoening.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760, wrapping up here before we send you back to national programming and Dan Patrick coming up at the 8 o'clock hour. A lot of LeBron talk today, and that is because LeBron dominating the headlines. So many ways to talk about that story. It writes itself, but unless there is a significant development, probably not going to talk about LeBron nearly as much tomorrow. Hopefully there's a lot more NBA news, and it'll be the last show before the weekend because we have Friday off for the observance of July 4th. However, we will be talking a little bit about the summer Spurs. I didn't get into the Spurs Summer League roster that was released. Unless you are an Austin Spurs junkie like I am, you might not recognize a lot of the names that weren't draft picks, but not as many Austin Spurs as I actually thought. But, Jaden Nunn's on the team, players like that have been in Austin for a little bit. We will talk about the Austin Spurs and their upcoming Summer League. I believe they get started on Friday, July 3rd. So
That's correct.
I will be watching the Spurs on my birthday. Hey,
The
what do you know?
California
Hey.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get that on my schedule. In fact, I have the Spurs games on my schedule by default, but I think it's only San Antonio Spurs, not Summer Spurs. So that does not appear on my schedule automatically like the Spurs schedule did. So I'll have to see if I can maybe find that little add to my calendar from the Spurs. That's been very nice because that also updates automatically when they adjust where the game is going to be watched, and if the tip time hadn't been announced or changed, shows up on my calendar automatically. So I like when those things happen because it keeps me on my sports schedule. Especially Summer League is always weird because there's 2 o'clock tip times, and then there's the 7 o'clock game. And I almost went to Salt Lake City because that's where my brother lives, and they always have the Salt Lake Summer League, which the Spurs attended for several years before they started the California Summer League to warm up before the Vegas Summer League. And there's nothing quite like Summer League because it doesn't matter what the score is. Those guys are going out there competing for their basketball lives, and it is really fun to watch these guys that, especially if you're a college basketball guy or a G League guy like I am, you recognize a lot of these names, and these guys are just trying to earn those training camp invites really and stand out. And obviously somebody like David Jones Garcia was somebody who won a lot of Spurs fans' attention for paying attention to those games, and he won the Spurs' attention as well, getting signed to a 2-way contract. So I do think that these Summer League games mean a lot to a lot of players. Carter Bryant is on the Summer League roster, so it's going to be excited to see Carter Bryant play. I should just pull that up. I might as well here as we have a little bit of time.
Yeah,
before.
Carter Bryant will not be playing in the California Classic. He will make his debut at the Las Vegas Summer League.
Good. No, that makes sense. Yeah, just because really it is a grind, and second-year Spurs tend to be too good for Summer League, and they get shut down after a game or two. I think there's so many examples of that where it's just okay, we don't need to see any more. You don't need to go out there and play much harder. We just wanted to give you some, I guess, first option reps, if you will. I remember Kawhi played in Summer League for his first Summer League because they didn't have Summer League when they drafted Kawhi due to the lockout, if I'm not mistaken. So Kawhi's first Summer League game was after his rookie year, and I think he could have easily put up 60, and the Spurs just said, no, that's it. We don't need to see any more. So, I think Derek White was similar, where D. White played in his second year, maybe DeJounte as well. There's plenty of second-year Spurs that go out there, play one game, put on a show, and then they're done. I think even Dylan Harper did that in Vegas last year. He only played 1 or 2 games for the summer Spurs because he was the number 2 pick, and the Spurs saw enough. They're like, okay, we see how good you are. You let other guys have an opportunity to show off their skills, and it's very fun in the NBA Summer League. They need to adopt the G League rules, though. I think there have been a couple changes. I think there's only 10-minute quarters in the California Classic, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, the other thing is the Summer League, they do have their own rules. I should admit that I do think that these are good rule changes that should just live in Summer League. You're allowed 10 fouls in Summer League.
10 fouls? That's too many.
Well, that's because the officials are also trying to, deal with these highly competitive games where people are going to foul because they're probably not used to the overall athleticism. There's a lot of fouls, and I like what Luka Šamanić said when he was assigned to Austin. He said you had to die to get a foul in the G League. I didn't know if that was a loss in translation, or just I think
they calling it a 90s ball in the G League.
You have to earn your fouls in the G League because it's a very fast-paced league, and there's just going to be a lot of collisions and swipes at the ball, and The rule changes that they make in the G League have all worked their way into the NBA, and it's almost like a lot of philosophies that you can practice in the G League do make their way to the NBA, which has led to a faster paced NBA game, a lot more threes, and just different defensive schemes. So I really love Scott King as an assistant coach because his 1 year in Austin, they set all kinds of like point differential and defensive rating records, and he's really a strong defensive-minded coach. Scott King will probably be a head coach in the NBA in the not-too-distant future. So, things that you just watch in the G League that they sort of implement in the Summer League. Corus Williams will be our head coach. He was an assistant under I'm trying to blank. He just went to Melbourne United. Scott Chance.
Sure.
So the G League, it was only his 1 year, and this was actually the year that I covered the G League the least in the last decade because I had Spurs responsibilities. Jacob Chance, who was the head coach of the Austin Spurs, and he left for Melbourne United in the NBL, so that's an upgrade for him. He goes back to Australia. He was Australian himself. So I would imagine eventually they're going to announce the new head coach for the Austin Spurs. Corus Williams was an assistant on the team. Makes sense. Pierre Parker is also an assistant on the Austin Spurs, Tony Parker's brother. So always interesting to keep up with the Austin Spurs.
We have some Tony Parker news, by the way. Did you catch that headline?
No, I'm sorry.
The team that he's GM for in Paris, France, he has now pulled a Greg Popovich. He has made himself the head coach of said team.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yep.
I did not hear that news. That is cool. Yeah, well, good for Tony. I think he'll be an interesting coach if he decides to actually continue on that route. But I think he enjoys Europe. He is somebody who I don't necessarily think he comes back to the United States as much as somebody like Manu Ginobili, who's made San Antonio his home, right? Like Manu lives here. I'm sure Manu probably has a home in Argentina as well. But
it is a French under-17 basketball team that he will be the head coach for.
Oh, cool. Tony will be a cool U17 coach. That'll be fun. No, I thought he was coaching men, and he had to be a lot more stern. And he'll be stern, but like Tony will be a good U17 coach for sure.
Yep, they'll be competing in the FIBA U17 basketball cup, which is actually going on right now as we speak.
Oh, literally, like they're playing at the moment. Is it on YouTube?
Probably somewhere.
Yeah. YouTube is usually a good place to watch some FIFA games. I was watching some of the U18
FIBA
AmeriCup FIBA tournament that Canada actually beat USA in the final. So that was a little crazy. Canada won our U18 tournament. So for this side of the world, the AmeriCup, I guess, is this corner of the world, if you will. So that was cool. That was in Leon, Mexico, and you can watch those games on YouTube a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of cool things that happen in the world of basketball. You were showing me that in the Japanese B League, they actually do the replay themselves. That's really cool. A lot of fun things to watch. Okay, we talk a lot of basketball on this show if you haven't caught on. Dan Patrick coming up next here on Ticket 760. Thanks to LG. I've been Karl Schoening. See y'all tomorrow.
"50 states, one national mall, 2 weeks of freedom." The Great American State Fair opens June 25th in Washington, D.C. All 50 states. Live music and rodeo, innovation, arts, culture, and American patriotism. Every day brings a new theme celebrating the best of who we are, capped by the largest fireworks display in the world on July 4th. This is for every American. Admission is free. Plan your trip at freedom250.org.